Seafoam. Thank you, Josh. I don't need to say anything else. You did it for me. I appreciate it. Seafoam to the rescue.
You'll recall a few months ago, this past summer, when the grass was green and it was warm and it was summery, we came upon the story of the fraudulent bus operation. The Minneapolis Public Schools booking a transportation company that ostensibly was delivering kids who were considered to be living mobile. They might have been changing residences or whatever, only to discover that it was pretty much demonstrated to be a fraud. You all recall that story?
Yes.
I do. Minivans. I remember minivans.
Yeah. This is where we've returned now to the world that's falling apart. Minneapolis Public Schools has given that company a new multi-million-dollar contract, despite all the discrepancies.
Never mind that fraud.
Okay.
Serious financial management questions continue as Minneapolis Public Schools refuses. This is from Alpha. Is it Alpha?
Yes.
Because I won't read this in the Star Tribune. As Minneapolis Public Schools refuse to discuss its contracts with Frontier Transportation. Earlier this year, Alpha News reported on the school district's contract with Frontier Transportation Services, a passenger van company operated by the Falmata, Bedasso, and Abdurahman Kadir. Reporters visited Frontier's listed office building in Roseville. I, for example, went there myself. There isn't anything there.
I was going to say, you didn't find anything.
I didn't find anything. An office appeared vacant. An individual at the location said, Bedasso, not here. Mm-hmm. The district's contract authorized Frontier to receive $3.6 million through 2027. Yet by early 2025, invoices showed the schools had already paid more than $7 million to the company. So the schools are in on the fraud. I'm saying that with comfort. Not that I find it comfortable, but we're so immersed in fraud that it's everywhere, including this fake bus company, allegedly fake. Most of Frontier's billing appeared to be tied to transporting homeless and highly mobile students in passenger vans. Under state laws, Minnesota school districts are fully reimbursed by state government for transportation services that assist homeless and highly mobile students. As such, Minneapolis Public Schools is paying Frontier with state taxpayer dollars rather than its own funds. What difference does that make? They don't have any funds. All their funds are taxpayer funds. Following Alpha News reporting, the school district issued a statement claiming the contract with Frontier is valued at $3.6 million each year through June 30, 2027, describing the figure as an annual amount rather than a cumulative total. MPS also said Frontier has not invoiced above the agreed upon and authorized amount, which is tantamount to telling me they're happy with the $3.6 million in fraud. They haven't asked for more than that.
Yeah.
They haven't asked for more than that.
They have a number.
God almighty. Alpha News was unable to find language in the contracts indicating the $3.6 million figure was annual. MPS statement prompted Alpha to ask the district a follow-up question. Can you show where in the contract or its amendments it states $3.6 million is an annual limit? Instead of providing the answer, the district replied with a question of its own. If that information is provided to Alpha News, will you issue a correction to or a redaction of the published article? A surprising response for a taxpayer-funded institute whose transparency should not hinge on changes in media coverage. To date, neither MPS Senior Financial Officer Ibrahima Diop nor the district has provided documentation or explanation as to where in the contract it states that $3.6 million was meant to be an annual amount. The first contract between MPS and Frontier was approved in June of 2022 and ran for the duration of the 2022-23 school year. That contract was not to exceed $1.5 million in total compensation to Frontier. An addendum to that contract was approved in July of 2022, which extended the contract term through June of 2024 and allowed MPS to extend the contract through June of 2027. In April of 2023, the contract was amended to add $500,000 to Frontier's compensation. This amendment was titled First Amendment to the original contract. Another amendment was approved just a few months later. This amendment, also called First Amendment to the original contract. This one added $1.5 million to the total compensation that Frontier could receive. Finally, a third amendment was approved in May of 2024. This amendment, simply called amendment, says the contract runs from July of 2022 through June of 2027. It also notes that Frontier's cumulative compensation for the contract is capped at $3.6 million. In June of this year, MPS approved a new contract with Frontier. The new contract, which runs through the 2025-26 school year, requires Frontier to provide transportation services for general education, special education, and homeless and highly mobile students. Under the terms of this contract, Frontier's total compensation is capped at $2.7 million. The contracts and amendments only raise more questions. Does MPS have an explanation for the $7 million in payments? Why did the schools agree to another contract with Frontier? Are both contracts currently active? Why does MPS bookkeeping appear to be so mismanaged? Alpha News reached out to MPS seeking answers, but have not received any response.
Shocking.
Alpha News has also learned that Frontier's owner and operator, Falmata Bedasso, received a total of $325,000 from the African Economic Development Solutions, a nonprofit, which is killing us in this state. The nonprofits are killing us. A nonprofit that distributes small business aid and has received millions in taxpayer dollars. During the 2025 legislative session, Bedasso was at the state capitol to support a bill that would give more state funding to the African Economic Development Solutions nonprofit. Bedasso, billed as an East African success story, testified before the Minnesota Senate's Jobs and Economic Development Committee in March. He spoke in favor of a bill introduced by DFL Senator Bobby Joe Champion that would send another $2 million to that group. Without this, I won't be able to employ 110 people and also provide transportation for these needy school districts, Bedasso told lawmakers. I'm not sure I believe him. He described how he scaled his company from 6 vans to more than 140. Thanks in part to multiple rounds of grants from the African American Development Solutions. Quite a story, one senator remarked after Bedasso's testimony. According to Bedasso's own testimony, he was awarded $25,000, then $100,000, then another $200,000 to expand his transportation business. During the 2025 special session of the Minnesota legislature, a provision awarding the African Economic Development Solutions $2 million was rolled into an omnibus bill and passed into law.
I know you're going for it.
I can't even find it.
I know you're going. You're going to calm yourself down.
I'm so sick again. I don't want to pay my taxes. I really don't. I'm not getting any. I don't get anything. What do I get for paying my taxes? I'm serious. What do I get? What do you get?
Stressed out.
What do you get?
I get nothing. A couple of.
In fact, it's such a crime. You don't even ride the bus.
I don't. And if I did, I wouldn't ride Frontier.
Right.
You know, you said something
The
earlier
schools
about
is intertwined in this fraud, apparently or allegedly, than any other entity in town.
and if the Star Tribune were to cover something like this, what would they say? A
They'd have
certain
to
type
run it
of
by walls first.
Well, a certain demographic is being targeted once again.
I mean, the one that's doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it legal to withhold information unless you print the article or retract something the way they want it? Is that even legal?
I don't know. Yeah,
That's very shifty.
in a functioning world, there would be a response. We are not functioning in this state.
I mean, that response from them is very greasy.
Malfunction.
Frontier busing is very greasy. I went out to Roseville, supposedly where they had this lot.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Nothing.
There's a shack.
No Frontier bus, no school bus with Frontier hastily slapped
I
to
don't
the
remember
side.
if I saw a sign that said Frontier.
Is it one of those bus companies where it's a minivan with the magnetic signs?
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
I was in the sign business.
I know you.
Like,
It's minivans. 140 they have all of a sudden.
I love
You
the
think
mi-
anybody from the schools ever went out and counted them?
no, they're too busy. I like the minivan with the, it's called Transportation Plus.
This state is really in very bad shape.
How are we going to right the ship?
Well, you got to get a new administration in there. You got to clean house, and you got to trim by half, a minimum by half, the non-governmental organizations, which are really governmental organizations, because they're all dependent on government money to run, and we're having money stolen from us every single day.
Not in favor of helping out the disadvantaged in this.
No,
state.
I'm a really evil white
Right.
guy.